Hello, my name is Jackie Kirkup. Welcome to Spotlight on Souris. Today is Thursday, October 17th, 2024. This evening I have with me Lori Couling here to my right. She's the Transportation Supervisor for the Southwest Horizon School Division, so welcome Lori. And to my far right I have Norm Gruhn. He's a school bus driver for Souris School and has been driving a school bus for 50 years. That's incredible. What a milestone. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So they're here this evening to talk about school bus drivers and the need to have them here in the Southwest Horizon School Division. So what type of people are you looking for and who would make a good driver?
Well, we're looking for anyone that enjoys driving and enjoys working with kids, people who want to stay active and give back to the community. Our casual or spare drivers, they can have a little bit more of a flexible schedule, filling in on routes or driving for excursion trips, that type of thing. Or people that can work a split shift.
Right, because you're picking up kids in the
In the
morning
morning.
and then in the after school part. Right. Okay. So this just flows right into the next question here. What does a school bus driver do?
Primarily, they're responsible for transporting students of various ages, so kindergarten to grade 12, to and from school in a safe and efficient manner.
Okay.
As well, they do drive students to other school-related activities, like extracurricular activities, their sporting events, trips during the day where they're going to plays or things like that.
Okay.
School bus drivers are also responsible for a pre-trip inspection on a school bus, managing their equipment, managing student behavior, emergency preparedness in the event that there is an emergency.
Right.
What else do you think, Norm? What else do?
What does a school bus driver do?
Yeah.
Well, I think if anybody wants to be one, you will succeed in that. You got to enjoy driving, of course, working with the kids, and have a clear driving record. That's one of the things you need. You get to watch the students growing up from kindergarten through to graduation. I've seen many cases like that in my own route, in my own area. I wished I knew how many students I took over the years.
Yes. Well,
You know,
maybe
there they
Lori
go.
can figure that
Well,
out for you.
we can't. It's too far back.
Take some calculating, but
And then excursion trips, whether it's sports or performances in Brandon or Winnipeg, you get to see the excitement from your kids and hear what they're learning. It's a rewarding experience, really.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
pretty
So-
special.
it is.
Yeah, wonderful. So you mentioned working a split shift. What does that mean and what are the hours and work days for school bus drivers?
Yep, so a split shift, basically our permanent route drivers, like Norm is right now, they work every day that school is in session. So
Okay.
basically they're September through end of June. There's 2 weeks off at Christmas break, 1 week off, usually end of March for spring break. And the hours worked are approximately from 7 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Okay.
And then again from 3 p.m. till about 5 p.m.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by the split shift.
Right.
So as a route driver, you're kind of committed to 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon.
Right. Okay. Okay.
When schools book buses for excursion trips, the extracurricular trips, then there's extra hours that could be worked depending on where the trip is. After school sports teams, they usually leave like 3:30 and then return after their games are done, anywhere between 7
Okay.
and maybe 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, depending on how far they need to travel.
Right.
Some trips are booked during the day, like Norm said, and they got to see performances and things like that
Right.
too.
Yeah. So there's
So-
a bit of a bonus. They get
Exactly.
to watch the sporting game or the play or take part in a.
Become part of it, really,
Yep. Yep.
while they're there.
Yeah. That's wonderful. So where do you need spare drivers?
In all of our communities.
Yes. So
It
yeah.
is.
Tell us.
Well, across the whole province, really. All of my counterparts in other school divisions, we're all looking for school bus
Really?
drivers. They are very needed.
Wow.
But especially for us at Southwest Horizon School Division, we need drivers in Souris.
Okay,
Spare drivers for now,
yes.
but maybe in a year or 2 or 3 years, we may need some route drivers
Right.
as well.
Okay,
But also in all of our other communities in the school division, which cover Wawanesa, Hartney, Deloraine, Wascata, Melita, and Pearson.
okay, yeah, that's a big region
It
here
is a
for
big
Southwest
region, yeah.
Horizon.
So we have
Yes.
7 communities in our school division.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So if a person was interested in becoming a bus driver, what would that look like?
Yeah, it's not just a step into it type of job.
I bet not.
It's not. So there is training course that goes on.
Okay,
There's a minimum 24 hours of instruction required to obtain a school bus operator's certificate, and it's offered through school divisions or by school bus contractors.
okay,
So there's actually people trained to run these courses
okay,
to train school bus drivers.
okay,
Okay, the training focuses primarily on the Manitoba School Bus Driver's Handbook, the MPI Driver's Handbook, and the Professional Driver's Manual, and it's conducted by school bus driver instructors. And they've been certified by Manitoba Education and Early Childhood Learning.
okay.
So
Wow.
they are certified. They have to take a big course as well in
Right.
order to learn how to be an instructor.
Right. And just listening to say all the handbooks that are involved, that's like a wide range of different driving
Yes.
pieces.
Exactly, yeah. So it is 24 hours of classroom, we call it classroom learning, and that focuses on general school bus knowledge, instructions for performing a thorough and effective pre-trip inspection. So
Okay.
that's how the school bus runs and making sure all the parts are working properly.
Right.
The in-vehicle and behind-the-wheel instruction, so actually driving.
Mhm.
And then once the individual is familiar with the school bus, they will be scheduled to perform the following MPI tests at an MPI service center.
Okay,
So you have to have a Class 2 license. So for those of us that go in with a Class 5, we have to do the written test to get the learners for the
Okay.
Class 2. So once you get the learners, then you can start driving the school bus with the instructor. And so they'll teach you everything you need to know. And then you'll have to do a road test in the school bus
Okay.
as well. And that will get you your Class 2.
okay,
They will also do a test for the pre-trip inspection, just to
Wow.
make sure that you know what you're looking for in your vehicle. So then once you have all of those successful components, a school bus driver will receive a Class 2 driver's license from MPI and a school bus operator certificate, and it comes from Pupil Transportation Unit, which is a part of Manitoba Education and Early Childhood Learning.
wow.
Yeah.
There's certainly a lot of things that I would have had no idea that
There is.
what all was involved.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It is.
So it's a whole course that we put on, and we usually like to collect, 5 or 6 people for the instructors, and then we say they do 3 days of classroom training, and then essentially it's another 8 hours of kind of in the school bus. They don't do those 8 hours all at once.
Right.
We kind of break it down into, okay, we'll meet this day and do 2 or 3 hours, and meet this day and do 2 or 3 hours, and build it up.
Okay.
But the instructors are amazing, and they teach you everything you need to know about a school bus. And they make sure you're comfortable and ready and ready to drive.
Right, right. Well, and that's what
Absolutely.
you want. Safe drivers that are knowledgeable and they have the safety of these
Exactly.
children
Yeah.
to look after. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Lori- And Lori, can you also say that the regular drivers are evaluated every, whatever period of time it is?
Absolutely.
So by the same
By the same instructors.
instructors?
So
yeah.
every 2 years, we do school bus driver evaluations.
Okay.
And so our instructors come and they do a little walkthrough with all of our drivers. Route drivers, spare drivers, anyone that's employed by us.
Okay.
And basically they say, okay, do a pre-trip inspection. And so the driver will talk them through the pre-trip inspection, and then they'll go for a ride along with them to make
Okay.
sure they're driving adequately, their pickups, drop-offs, turns, all of that stuff properly.
Everything we have to do every day,
Right,
basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's, we don't just take the course once and then we can go forever without
Right.
Nope.
being checked. We're
No.
checked regularly, so.
and
Yeah.
that makes,
To bring
you know,
us-
sense,
yeah,
right? There
well,
could be
yeah.
some changes,
Oh,
right?
yeah, keeps us up to
Absolutely.
speed.
Yeah, for sure.
We also, all school bus drivers have to attend 8 hours of in-servicing every year.
Okay.
So every year I put together a different professional development for them. So what are some of the things we've done?
Oh, well, yours for one thing, on the medical end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done, I think we had a bus rodeo there a few years ago.
Right.
Just makes different things that pertain to our job. I just can't think of anything just offhand, but
Defensive driving. We've
defensive
taken
driving, that's
some-
another one,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
like that, yeah.
And we've also taken, well, this year we're going to be doing nonviolent crisis intervention training.
First
So-
aid also.
And first aid we've done, yeah. So we try and pick something different every year that just, that is of
Enhances
interest.
the, yeah,
Exactly, enhances what comes along with the job.
yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Do you need to have CPR to be a bus driver?
First aid,
Okay.
you don't have to have it, but it is recommended because
Okay.
as a route driver, they're the only adult on the bus.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
So and they're sometimes, they're out in the country. They're out
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of nowhere sometimes. And if there's an emergency, they need to have some basic knowledge of what
Right.
to do
right.
for first aid wise.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good. What does the general public need to know about school bus safety? You know, I think about myself and, you know, not even remembering the rules about stopping behind a bus, you know, when the sign's out. So like, I know you're gonna tell me some things here, so,
Oops.
and some good reminders here, I think, for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start. So when you see a school bus and they have their red lights flashing and the stop sign is out, this means that students are either loading or unloading from the
Okay.
school bus.
Okay,
And they could be crossing in front of the bus to cross the road. So that's the most important thing to know about. If the school bus is stopped and there's red lights
Mhm.
flashing and the stop sign is out, stop. You have
Right.
to stop and wait
yes.
until the red lights cancel and the stop sign comes in and is no longer visible, then vehicles can proceed.
Right, okay,
But when that stop sign is out and the red lights are flashing, there is a chance that there's gonna be students.
right,
And
right.
Students can be unpredictable, they're
Absolutely.
kids, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's probably the most important part.
Can I add something that way?
Mhm.
Yes, go
With the
for
amber
it.
lights come on, and people think, well, it's only the amber lights on and they can pass the bus. Well, the red lights are gonna come on at any time, after those amber lights come on.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a good idea to heed them as a stop, you know.
Right, the amber lights are the warning.
They're the warning,
I
they're the
see.
pre-warning, so
Okay.
take that as a red light and then the red lights will come on. But some people will try to say, well, it's just been an amber light, so, but yes, it does matter. You stop, no matter what.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like your traffic lights, right, in the
Yeah.
city.
That's right, the same thing,
Yeah.
that's right.
And school bus stop at school bus stop at railroad tracks, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
Mhm. All railway crossings.
Right.
Everywhere, country,
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Regardless if they are like
Empty or loaded.
Controlled or
right, that's
Doesn't
what.
matter.
empty
Yeah,
loaded,
it
yes.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, they always
No.
stop.
Right, and is there any other things like that school buses would particularly stop at, or is it railroad
Nope.
crossings
No.
would be one?
I think just railway
that's all.
crossings.
That's
Yeah,
all.
okay,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay,
And I mean, the railway crossings are a stop, look and listen is what they're
Mhm.
doing, and then proceed.
right,
And I know lots of vehicles question about, do I need to stop behind the school bus? Can I go around the school bus?
Mhm.
If you were looking at, or going with like the laws of the road,
Right,
when you're driving up to the school bus and you notice the yellow line, you'll notice it's a solid yellow line. So you're not supposed to pass
Right.
when going over a railway crossing.
right, yeah,
So not saying there's not students getting out, nothing like that, but the laws of the roads are you're not supposed to pass on a solid yellow line.
that's right,
Yeah.
that's right, and a good reminder.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Did you want to talk?
I could
Yeah.
mention that, yeah, about showing respect. I believe that we need to always show respect, Jackie, for the other motoring public, That's the only way that we're gonna get their respect back in
Mm.
return. If we don't do the right things, we can't expect, for anybody else to do it. And by doing our job well, as well as we can, ability-wise, it rewards us over and over. If you
Yeah.
really, if you really want to drive a school bus, you'll succeed. I'm going to say too, we're not a special vehicle on the road as such until we make a stop. Then we're extremely special because we're carrying a very valuable and irreplaceable cargo, which is your children. And I ask everybody watching this to always give school buses their necessary space and follow all the rules when they're traveling near or around a school bus.
Yeah,
So young lives are protected.
absolutely. Yeah, very good reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine, or pardon me, I couldn't imagine being that school bus driver and, that little sense of nervousness every time a child's getting on the bus or off the bus. And,
There's only so much
just
we can
making
do.
sure that they're
We can follow all the rules, but
safe.
if the public decides to pass us when they
Yeah.
shouldn't
Yeah.
on either side, we can't stop that.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, very
So
important to
it's,
watch for
it
these,
is.
the lights and that.
It is.
the
And I think
stop
drivers,
sign.
I think all drivers are pretty darn careful. I think
Mhm.
everybody
Do too.
that I've ever known has been really good,
Yeah, yeah,
about caring about what they're carrying.
yeah. I can hear it in your
Agree.
voice, Norm. It just sounds so wonderful that you
Yeah.
know, you are doing a very important
Well,
job.
it's a responsible job
Yeah, absolutely.
because of the cargo's worth so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do I know if a school bus is safe?
Yep. Well, every day before the school buses go out on their trips, the bus drivers have to do a pre-trip inspection.
Okay.
And it's a very thorough inspection. It takes
is.
about 20 minutes
Mm.
to half an hour to check everything on the bus.
Yeah.
They're checking lights to make sure all the lights are working. They're checking under the hood to make sure that all of the belts are in proper working condition.
Mhm.
The fluids are up. There's no
fluid levels.
hoses leaking. They're looking under the bus. They're checking their tires.
Any leaks or anything like that? Inside the bus too, make sure your seats are all okay, that
Right.
hasn't been damaged to them, or, we've got windows that they got buzzers and that and stuff that you gotta check that to make sure everything's working as it should be. There's a lot of things to check.
Right, yeah. So the emergency exits have the buzzers and that's
And
the
the
back
windows.
door and then the windows, right?
And the roof hatches
And-
too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's all,
I think
Right.
it's been a little while since I've been in a
Yeah.
more modernized
Yeah.
school bus.
Yeah. So the buses start with that. Like every day they start with that pre-trip inspection.
yeah.
And then anything that the drivers find that is maybe not quite right, they bring that to the attention of either myself or the mechanics.
Okay.
We do have 2 in-house mechanics. They're both
Mm.
Red Seal journeyman
Oh, wow.
mechanics, and they're both certified through MPI to do safety inspections.
Okay.
So that's another component of the safety of the school buses. The buses are brought in every 6 months for a complete safety inspection.
Mm.
So the mechanics go through the whole bus and just make sure that everything is working as to the standard
Wow.
it's supposed to be met.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then of course, there's the general servicing that is done as well, like the oil changes or just,
Mhm.
headlight needs
Anything we
changed.
need fixed
Yeah.
at that time is
Yeah.
done too
Yeah,
at the same time.
exactly.
Wow.
I guess I'll add, I feel that my bus is safe,
Mm-hmm.
that it's well looked after and no problems like
Yeah.
that. I think
Yeah.
everybody's doing a good job in that regard.
Yeah,
I agree.
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, and to know you have, these mechanics available and, to
Yeah.
assist with any, repairs or anything like that. Like, that's a
Exactly.
pretty important thing, and
It is.
you want to be safe when you're out
Yeah.
on the road,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I see that we're heading into School Bus Safety Week next
is.
week. So
Yeah.
this is perfect timing that we're
Yeah.
here. So
That's right.
what kind of activities take place during this week?
Yep. So School Bus Safety Week is always the 3rd full week in October. So this year that brings it to be October 21st through the 25th. And usually what we do is send out some reminders to the schools, and the schools do classroom learning. So usually it's the early year students.
Mhm.
So I'll send some general activities about school bus safety. For example, learning about the danger zone. Can you explain the danger zone to us, Norm?
The danger zone is in front of the bus, was it 3 meters, 10 feet, I think, and around the right-hand side of the bus.
Okay,
Well, it's actually all the way around the bus, the danger zone, but the primary one is in front and on the right-hand side, on the
Okay.
passenger side. So we
And
have
why do
to,
they call it the danger zone?
Because you're getting close to the bus again. If there's cars around or anything, you're
Yeah.
getting too close to the bus. You're within that so-called space.
right,
Exactly.
okay,
And reminding students not to go back into that space. So when a student gets off the bus, and let's say they all of a sudden drop a ball or a piece of paper and it rolls under the bus, that's part of the learning. You don't ever go back. You
Right.
just leave it until you get an adult to get the attention of the school bus driver.
okay,
And then make sure that the school bus is secure before anyone goes into that danger zone.
right.
Because, yeah, it's not safe in
Yeah,
that danger
that's right.
zone area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Things you don't think of necessarily, but they're very important.
exactly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It,
So they learn about the danger zone. The kids also learn about crossing safely, unloading and loading, crossing safely. So if a student is unloading off of the bus and they have to cross in front of the bus to get to their house,
Okay,
they learn how to do that. So when they unload off the bus, they go down the steps and maybe walk out. There's a crossing arm on every bus, so they walk out a little ways, and then they get the attention of the bus driver, or look at the bus
Yeah.
driver. The bus driver's looking in their mirrors to make sure that there's no traffic coming,
okay,
and then he will wave the student across when it is safe to cross.
wow,
Right?
wow.
Actually, Lori, I get them to stop twice. I know you have to. They're
Oh,
not.
well,
You get them
tell
stop
us.
at the right front,
Yeah.
and then they've got that, and then you look, and then stop once more before they cross the street.
Wow,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I don't know. That's just
You
an
can't be
extra
too
precaution.
safe.
No, you
It's-
can't.
that's right,
No.
that's
Right?
right.
So
Yeah.
they learn about that and learning about watching for the bus driver and taking those directions from the bus
Right,
driver
right.
to do it safely.
Yeah,
Actually, though, those left drop-offs, we avoid those if possible. You know, the road is set up, right, Lori?
Yeah,
To avoid them if we can.
if we can.
right,
We
A
either run the lane
right-handed
or
drop-off is
make
always
another
better.
plan, yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I can see that,
Because they're
for
the
sure.
most dangerous one that we do.
Yeah.
Wow,
So all students also practice bus evacuations
okay.
twice per school year. And so we encourage the schools to maybe do those during School Bus Safety Week as
Right,
well.
Right,
So the bus drivers will all come back to the school at either before classes are done or just in the morning, they'll stay. And all the kids in the school will come out and the drivers will do a practice bus evacuation with them. And they'll
excellent.
explain about all of the ridership rules, about staying in their seats, not jumping around, no yelling,
Yeah.
keeping arms in, like no arms out the windows,
Right,
no eating on the school bus, explaining where where the first aid kit is, where the fire extinguisher is, maybe how to work the emergency windows
Okay.
and the roof hatches. And then they'll actually do an evacuation. And it is usually out the rear door because,
Because that's easiest, but you can do half and half. You can
Right.
do, if you're in a real emergency, you can do half front and half back, or all front or all back. There's
right.
3 ways to do it.
I remember doing the out the back
Did
bus
ya?
evacuation and
Yeah.
2 people got to help
Yeah, that's
be
right.
the helper, right? Does
Right,
that
that's
still how it works?
Yeah,
To help
and then
lift
they help the
person
kids
out? Yeah,
out, and sit and slide.
yeah,
Sit down on the floor and slide out, and then go over and meet in a safe place.
right,
And I tell them to, I don't know, pick that up somewhere, stay in fives, and then you can count 5, 10, 15, 20,
Ah,
25
that's a
kids.
good idea.
Instead of having to have a whole group that's moving around.
Yeah.
If you can get them to do that, it works good.
And it's
But,
important,
it's
this isn't
good.
just for kids that ride the school buses
Everybody,
on a
no,
daily
no.
basis.
No.
This is for all students, because
Yeah.
you don't know.
exactly.
That
When-
person might be on a volleyball team, but doesn't
That's
ride
right.
the bus every day to get to
Exactly.
school. So
Yeah.
they need to learn how to,
Evacuate the bus in
Yeah.
the event of an emergency.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's about the only time we get to talk to all the kids, so it's a good thing, really.
right,
It's,
Yeah.
It keeps them all aware of what we expect of them, and, you know, it's just good.
Yeah.
There's lots
Our
to know.
buses are all equipped with radios, is that correct?
Yes, all the
Mm-hmm.
buses have bus radios in them.
Okay,
And so then they're able to radio into the bus garages, myself, or any of the schools
oh, okay,
can all hear them.
okay,
And they can hear each other, which they're great at
Yeah.
that. They're all such a good team that they work together. So if one bus is maybe stuck somewhere or is looking for some guidance on something,
Mhm,
they can talk to their co-drivers
Excellent.
and get feedback from
Yeah.
them.
We can crisscross on the other, like Wawanesa can crisscross with Souris and
Right.
Souris and Hartney back and forth, or, not just in our own particular area.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
'Cause we're
That's
all-
excellent.
It
Yeah,
is.
you're all working together, right?
Oh, we are.
Exactly.
That's so important.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I mentioned
good.
earlier that I maybe spilled the beans that
No, it's
Norm
okay.
has been driving for 50 years, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, Norm, what is the best part about being a school bus driver?
Well, I guess I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't like it, number one, It's been rewarding. I've got to watch these kids, like I said, grow up and go through graduation. The highlight for me was driving special needs students. I had 3 of those over the years, like on the route.
Yeah,
And I felt it was a small part of just seeing these guys grow up every day and try to understand their world as they would see it. A very special part of my job, I thought, and I will never forget what I learned in that area.
I bet
Really,
not.
they were totally different than the regular kids,
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed the driving and getting to know all the students and the parents, colleagues, and there's still people come up to me and say hello, and I don't know who they are because I took them years ago, and they've changed a lot. But it's been a real pleasure overall, and sometimes humbling, but the years have just gone by super fast.
yes. Well, it's
It's-
amazing, and
it's,
I hope you're not thinking about retiring
Well,
anytime soon.
it's always there. I mean, of course, after that length of time, but
We're going to keep him as
But,
long as he'll stay.
Yeah.
Norm's wife is a driver for us as well.
Oh,
so
wow.
they are a bus driving family.
That's
And
amazing.
it is. It's so wonderful.
actually, I drove a van for the Souris Valley for a year before I had the bus, so I'm actually I'm actually
Oh, you
51.
are? Oh, my
I mean,
goodness.
that was the extra year. It wasn't for
Right.
Southwest Horizon, but
Yeah.
kind of got me started and when I got my license and that. But,
Yeah, pretty amazing. You certainly don't hear,
I do.
like that. You don't hear about many people anymore
Well, it's long-
spending long-term,
no.
in one
No.
place, and I just think
Exactly.
it's so
We've
neat
got a
and
few. Maybe I'm at the top, but there's quite a few in the division that aren't very far behind me.
Really,
So we've got quite a few that are long-termers, yeah.
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 I consider anything over 25 years long-term.
Oh, I
We've got a
would
few,
agree.
We've
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
a few of those, yeah.
Absolutely, there are.
Yeah.
How many school bus drivers do you have, like on routes in the whole division?
There's 29 routes in the whole
Okay,
division.
okay.
So we have 29 permanent drivers that
Right.
drive routes, and then we have approximately 20 to 25
Oh.
spare drivers across the division.
Right.
So, which is great. The spare
Mhm.
drivers are amazing and are help us out when
Oh, yeah, we
when
need
our
them.
we need them.
Oh, for sure.
When the route drivers need a day off, medical
Yeah.
appointments, things like that. The extracurricular trips that run
Mhm.
after school, the route drivers can't do them.
Right.
So we need them.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Lori's running a route at Wawanesa now with spare drivers,
Wow.
Yes.
because we don't have a regular driver to fill
Yeah.
that route.
So my
Mm.
spare
So-
drivers are filling in, which I don't know what I'd, like, yeah.
Yeah.
What
Just like
would you
Norm
do?
said,
Yeah.
what would we do without
Yeah.
them?
That's
Yeah.
about it, eh?
Yeah.
So if there's people that are watching and they're curious about becoming a school bus driver,
Mhm.
what should they do, Lori?
They should contact me.
Okay.
Yes. So, I don't know.
And what's the best? Should they
What's
just
the-
stop by the school division bus
They-
garage? Is
Yes, my office is at the bus garage in
Okay.
Souris, or they can call me, and my
Okay.
office number is 483-6251.
that- Okay, excellent. Well, I sure hope that having this conversation with the two of you and learning about what it takes to become a school bus driver and just the different safety things that go
Yeah.
on.
More
and-
to it than meets the eye.
Yeah,
It
and
really is.
having a very seasoned school bus driver here to share their experiences has just been really quite amazing. So I do really hope that there's some people out there that
I hope so too.
can
Yeah.
find their way to help out. So
I'd just like to say, if you're thinking of doing it, go for it. You won't be sorry, because
yeah,
I've never been sorry.
yeah,
So take my advice and just go for it.
yeah. Sounds like pretty good advice to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Well, did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
I think we're good. That was
Excellent.
awesome.
Excellent.
I would like to mention too, I guess we didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'd like to try to have the students on our side. Whatever you have to do every day to get those kids on your side.
Mm,
Try you might not get them all, but I mean.
right.
Because it sure make them feel appreciated, and it sure helps our job so much easier if we all if they respect the bus driver.
Yeah.
And that's always been, that's nothing new.
Oh,
Been
I
around,
would
been
agree.
around forever and ever.
I rode a
And,
school bus, and I know my parents, that was something that,
It's
you
a
know,
safety issue,
yeah.
actually, you know, if
Yep,
that
absolutely.
driver's not watching the road and watching the kids behind him, that's not a safe way to drive.
You're right.
So
Yeah.
the better that you can get the conduct of those kids on the bus to respect you and respect each other, and it's a safety issue.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
gonna be a much safer
Yeah.
ride, and a lot easier on the driver,
Absolutely, yeah, yeah,
you know?
Agree.
and on everyone.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's a good
Yeah.
thing to talk to, you know, remind the parents or caregivers or whomever, just to,
Yeah.
you know, just reiterate, you know,
Yeah.
that.
I found that over the years, big time, that, you know, the parents are, if you get along with the parents, you'll get along with the kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And,
perfect.
And you want to try and get it there.
Yeah.
Right now, personally, I don't have any trouble.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
going quite well.
Good, all
And I've
right.
said that to Lloyd before, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're not gonna
Yeah.
talk about that anymore. We don't wanna
Skip.
ruin
No.
that.
No, but I mean, there's most of the drivers out there have no trouble,
I
I
agree.
don't think.
Majority
The
do not.
majority, no.
Nope.
And it's a big, and discipline and conduct is a big thing on the
Oh,
bus.
absolutely.
Big thing, because we have them for, what, half an hour to an hour on the bus, you know?
Yeah,
So it's a long time. If things aren't going well, that's
That's
a
right.
lot of misery to spend.
yeah.
So we don't want that.
No, for sure not.
So, anyway,
Well, this has been wonderful and a pleasure to have you both.
Thank
So-
you for having us.
Well, you're very welcome.
thank you very much.
This has been Spotlight on Souris for Thursday, October 17th, 2024.